going to start off with our first speaker, and this is about a 9 to 10 minute presentation from Dianne Holmes. She's our operations manager with DriverCheck. She's been with us since 1996 and was technically the third employee at DriverCheck. The first two were the owners, Dr. Chris Page and Dr. Mary Jean Page. So Dianne has a very emotional story about why she likes to work safe. And as you've seen our promotional materials, we want to work safe for the moments that matter. So we wanted Dianne to share this story as a foundation of what we're going to be talking about over the next few days. So with that, I'd like to welcome Dianne to the stage.
A workplace accident can happen that quickly, but the effects will last a lifetime. In a split second, lives are changed forever. You may be thinking, how does she know? But unfortunately, I've lived it firsthand. I grew up on a farm. And the things that you experience in that environment are wondrous and invaluable. Our mother was our family's self-appointed health and safety representative. She came by the role instinctually, having grown up on a farm herself, having 5 kids to try and keep under control, and having a husband whose job could be very dangerous at times. She had a ritual, and I didn't know it at the time, but it was like our family's very own safety moment. She would sprinkle us with holy water. We were a good Catholic family after all. But she would say 3 things. Be good. Have fun. Stay safe. Stay safe. 2 very simple words, 1 powerful statement. And us kids might giggle and roll our eyes behind our backs, but we did know the value of safety in our daily farm lives. It may be an obvious assumption. If I grew up on a farm, my father was probably a farmer. And he was. But when I was a kid, I never thought about what his job was. He was just a farmer. But that was his occupation. That's how he paid the bills. That's how he provided for his family. And our farm, our home, was his workplace. Now, my father was old school. He was born in the 1920s, grew up during the Great Depression of the 1930s, saw friends and family go off and never return from World War II. He started his working career very early in life, barely getting a grade 8 education, so he could work full-time on the family farm. At the age of 16, he headed off to work in the lumber camps of Northern Ontario, spending long, cold winters away from his family for months at a time. He took on physically challenging work every single day of his life. But his goals were simple. Work hard, provide for his family, just like any worker today. Now, between farming and lumbering, my father's true skill was as a teamster. Today, a teamster is generally a truck driver. But in my father's day, a 2 or 4 draft horse hitch was the power of the day. And as a trucker loves his truck, my father loved his horses. The beautiful blonde maned Belgians were his favorite. Those gentle giants, and he, their expert handler. One day, one beautiful spring day, when I was 16, my father and my brother headed out into the field. They were going to harness up the horses to do some planting. It was a calm, peaceful day. The air hung thick with the smell of lilac. The sun shone bright in the sky. Just another day in the life of a farm worker. As my father approached the horses, one of them was spooked and bucked. 2,000 pounds of brute force in the form of a Belgium's ironclad hoof crashed through my father's chest, knocking him limp and unconscious to the ground. My brother, in utter shock, carried my father's small and broken body back to the house, where he was taken by ambulance to the hospital. A few hours later, as my mother sat by that hospital bedside, praying for a miracle, my father passed away from the impact of that kick. In the split second that it took for that accident to occur, life, as my family had known it, had changed forever. A few years before my father's accident, on April 28th, 1985, the National Day of Mourning was started in Sudbury, Ontario. It's a day to commemorate workers who have been killed, injured, or suffered illnesses due to workplace hazards. Because of my father's workplace death, he was included in a local memorial that honored that day. And although his death was very tragic, it was such a tribute to our family to have him remembered. A husband, a father, a brother, an uncle, a friend, a worker. Fast forward 30 years, and I stand here today. Call it fate, call it coincidence. But for the last 22 years, I've had the privilege of working for DriverCheck, a company committed to building a healthier and safer world. And each day, my work contributes to worker safety. I want every child to know that their loved ones are safe at work, and they will never have to experience the pain and agony of losing someone through a workplace accident. I am very thankful to be able to share my story with you today. And as you pass through this life, remember, be good, have fun, stay safe for the moments that matter.